Hi you guys, I shared with you a couple of days ago this layout that I created using up some things that I've been hoarding in my stash for a long time and not used. And I promised you guys that I would share the other side. Don't forget to go back and watch that video to the end because there is a contest at the end and details are all described at the back end of it. The contest ends on September the 1st, so please go check that out and participate. I'd love to see what you guys make. And I've already had some submissions, which is awesome because I just think that's super cool. So on the back, I wanted to continue on with my challenge of using up some things that I had left over. So what I decided to do was take the paper that was left over from the front. There was just long strips left over where I cut it down to 8x8, and I sewed them together to make this overall look in the background. And then I took a strip of the almanac paper and I cut it down to make this pocket. And then what I did was I took my tonic punch that love this punch. This is like my favorite little doily type punch edge, and it's very dainty and very lacy looking, so I used it on the top here to give a different look. And then I have this bucket that sits on my desk, and it basically like just has random things. Like I was making those flowers. This is one left over. I was making you know, some things with that one, the birdcage die or birdcage mini from Teddy Boo, and this was just a little piece of the lace that was left over. And what I do is I just throw these little pieces into this little bucket, and then when I'm working on things I just kind of plunder through the bucket and see if I can't find something to go in here. And that's kind of where most of the things that are used as embellishments on this page have come from. This black trim was just a piece that was this big, and it's usually little pieces that are so tiny like this that you really don't want to put them back in your stash because you're afraid they'll get lost in there. So this is kind of what ends up in the bucket. So this was a little strip of sequins that was like this big, so I cut that down and used it in here. This was a little teeny tiny piece of this pearl trim that was left over from another project, and honestly it's about that big. Again, not big enough to put away, so that little scrap bucket ends up being a good place for all of that. And this was a little die cut that I had left over where I did the April journal and for Marion Smith, and I had made these labels to go on that book, so Inspire works for this layout. This is the lady that I colored a couple of videos back, and she just was laying here, and I was afraid because she's watercolor that she'd end up damaged, so I decided to use her on this layout too. And then again, just as I shared before, this is the strip that came off of the printery paper, and I just made these little banners out of it. And then this was a piece left over from when I was doing the journals for Marion, and I just thought the little dress form kind of fit, and it just made another pocket kind of thing. So I put my journaling in here and used one of Marion's tabs. So I really love that all of this stuff just really goes together. And then this was a doily that was cut in half and left on my desk, and I added it. These are little book pages. These are little, like I cut them out of a scallop punch, and then I just did the Donna Salzer technique where you put a little hot glue on the mat and you pinch them from both sides, and it puckers up and makes this little flower, which I thought the book text went really well with the almanac paper. So anyway, this is the back side of my layout, and I kept with my challenge of using up my scraps or using up some old product. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for participating in my challenge. I've already had a couple people submit some things, so go check out my blog. I'll put the address down in the description, and I'll also put the link to the last video that shows the contest rules, and again, they're at the very end of the video. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you've had a great weekend.